When I was in the middle of my alcohol dependence, I got really sick and I wound up in the hospital with a bilateral pulmonary embolism, meaning that I basically had blood clots in both of my lungs. This was something that came on one day out of the blue, and turns out I have a blood clotting disorder that contributed to this. But what I found out was that really it was my heavy alcohol use that was likely the main culprit of this happening. I had to spend some time in the hospital, and I remember when I kind of came to and became aware of what was going on, the doctors told me that I was lucky to be alive and that this condition was something that could have killed me because the blood clots could have traveled up to my brain and caused a stroke or an aneurysm. Because of this incident, I had to go on blood thinner medication, and the doctor told me that I wasn't supposed to drink on this medication because alcohol thins your blood, and that's what the medication was going to do, and I had to go in every single week to get my blood checked. And I remember being a little bit excited in that moment in the hospital because I was like, okay, great, maybe this is finally the wake-up call that's going to cause me to quit drinking. You know, I literally almost died. I'm in intensive care in the hospital. I have to go on this medication. Maybe this is finally the wake-up call. Great, like I'm gonna quit drinking. So I get out of the hospital, and for a couple days I stay sober. I've started on this medication, but within less than a week I was back to drinking again, and drinking heavily and kind of back to where I started, despite the fact that I was on a medication that was thinning my blood. My doctor told me I'm not supposed to drink on this medication, but what I realized at the time is because I had alcohol addiction, I wanted to drink. I had an intense, overwhelming desire to drink to the point where I was willing to sacrifice my health and safety just to be able to keep drinking. To me, this kind of proves how illogical alcohol use disorder is, because I was literally being faced with a life-threatening condition, the doctor telling me I couldn't drink alcohol anymore, but I was doing it anyway. Thankfully, nothing bad ever happened. I did have to keep getting my blood checked. Some weeks it would be too thin and they'd have to adjust my medication. But my alcohol use disorder just continued on from there for years. And again, gratefully, nothing bad happened with regards to the blood clots returning. But I feel like I dodged a bullet with that, to be honest. And I was putting myself at extreme risk just to be able to keep drinking. And again, that's the insanity of alcohol use disorder, and also why I'm so grateful for naltrexone and the Sinclair Method for the fact that it healed me of this disorder permanently. Today, I'm over 5 years alcohol free. I have zero interest in drinking, zero craving for alcohol. It was honestly easy for me to quit drinking through this treatment. And I think that's something that is important for all of us to recognize who struggle with alcohol, that it's not a logical issue. And I remember for me just kind of waiting for that rock bottom moment to hit that would finally motivate me to quit drinking. And I was in that hospital bed thinking, this is it. This is the moment. Like, I literally almost died. I have this health condition now. I have to quit drinking, and I still couldn't quit drinking. And so if you're struggling today, please know that it's not something that we can just approach logically. In my experience, it feels like my brain was hijacked by the alcohol addiction, and the only thing that got rid of it was the Sinclair Method, which I feel like it over time really reversed the addiction from my brain. As always, you can learn more about this treatment with my other videos or the link in my profile.